Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera. So in this video we discuss question number 19 and 20. So just 3 more question. Lama buat benda ni. Yo. Okay, question number 19. An object is launched at an angle of 25 degrees with an initial velocity of 42 meter per second from the roof of a building at the height of 50 meter. So they give you lots of information here. Okay, 50 meter, 25 degree, 42 meter per second. So that 50 meter actually correspond to the height of the building. Okay, so let's say this is when the height is equals to 0. That means down here is sy when sy is equals to negative 50. Don't forget to put the negative because this one is below the starting position. Calculate the maximum height of the object from the ground. Okay, so basically if you use Vy equals to 0, okay, you will get Sy at the maximum height. So that Sy actually correspond for a distance from the height is equals to 0. So you will expect to get a positive something here lah. So that represent this height. So if you want to find from the ground, you have to add that one with the 50 meter just now. Not just now lah, 50 meter. Okay, A, I'm gonna do that one straight away. Okay, but before that, copy down the formula. Again, you need to write down the formula first so that you can easily choose and cancel out which one you don't want to use. Okay, paste it over here as well so that later on I don't have to do it again. Okay, when will it, okay, calculate the maximum height. Okay, like I always told you, first thing first, find ux and uy. So ux equals to u cos theta here because the theta is in the x component there. So I'm gonna do it straight away. If you're not sure why is cos or why is sine, go back to previous video. Okay, so one is pointing to the right, another one is pointing outwards. So both of these is positive. Cos 25 is below. You have to put, if let's say it's below here, right, you have to put the negative manually. Yeah. I got here it's 38.06. This one is for x component. Okay, for y component I got here is 42 sine 25, which is equals to 17.75. Okay, you can take 3 decimal points, it's up to you lah, but here I choose 2 decimal place. Okay, now I do have my uy and I want to find my sy. So it's added these 2 equation. Okay, but I don't have any time, so time is not given, so I can cancel out this one, that one, so you left with this one lah. Okay, so Vy equals to uy square minus 2g square. Okay, remember the reason why I choose this part is because we are talking about the y component punya distance. If you are talking about the x component, then you have to choose the equation from the x component lah. Vy is equals to 0 because at this position it is at the maximum height where Vy equals to 0. The Vx will be always constant, but Vy will be changing. So 0 equals to 17.75 square, don't forget the square, 9.81. So you basically want to find the sy. So you take the square of 17.75. Okay, and then you divide by 2 and 9.81. So I got here is 16.06. Okay, but remember this one is the distance from the height equals to 0. So if you want to find the distance from the ground, you basically have to add up lah. So you get 66.06 meter. Okay, seems correct. So oops. Okay, I'm gonna resize it. Make this one a little bit smaller. Put it over there. Okay, B, when will it reach its maximum height? Okay, now they ask you to find the time. So now you have to use either this one or that one lah. Okay, you don't know the height, so you can use this one if you want to, but again I'm going to choose the easiest one because this one doesn't have any square in the T. So for me personally, it might be easier for me to calculate for me lah. B equals to Vy equals to Uy minus GT. What's this? Okay, so Vy is equals to 0, Uy is equals to 17.75, 9.81 times 2.75 divided by 9.81, you get straight away I got 1.81 second. Again, I'm gonna make this one a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's the answer straight away. Okay, A and B is finished. What is the velocity when it strikes the ground? Okay, this is interesting. So I'm gonna copy this to a new page. Okay, so basically the question want you to find smaller a bit. Okay, so basically the question want you to find the V when it reach the ground. So before they reach the ground lah, jangan kamu letak 0 pula. It's not a trick question pun. So you need to have your Vx and you need to have your Vy. Then you can find the magnitude of Vx and Vy, and you take the square and then you take the square root, then only you can find the V, and then you have to find the direction as well. Okay, so I think previously question, not sure, question 18 or 17, I might forget to find the direction. Anyway, it's okay. Okay, so your Ux is equals to Vx. So that one you can know already. So questions, this is question C. So V. So you can find your Vx straight away because Ux is equals to Vx, which is equals to 38.06. Okay, now you need to find your Vy. Okay, to find Vy, you can choose either this three equation lah. I can cancel out this one first straight away because you don't have V inside there. So between these, I don't have any time yet, so I can cancel out that one and straight away use this one to find my Vy. So initially when you try to do this question, okay, because you don't have enough practice yet, you might find it's quite difficult to choose the formula, right? But once you familiarize, then you know which information that you have and which information that you want to find, you can do it straight away. Shouldn't have any problem. But even if you are used to it, for me, I still have to write down the formula. Okay. Okay, I forget what I'm gonna do. Okay, so now Vy square equals to Uy square. So your Uy is equals to 17.75. square minus 2, 9.81. Okay, now the sy would be negative 50. Why it is negative? Because it is below the starting point, starting position here. So below here it would be negative. You have to substitute it yourself. Okay, if you calculate, it would be 17.75 square minus 2 times 9.81. Okay, so it will become positive there, times 50. So take the square root. So I got here is v equals to dy equals to 36.00 meter per second. Okay, so you already have vx and vy. Now you can find your v by taking the square root of vx square and vy square. So 38.06 square plus 36 square, the square root v would be equals to 52.39. Don't forget to put down the unit as well. Okay, now you still haven't finished because you still have to determine the direction. Even though the question didn't ask, okay, always calculate the direction for a vector. Okay, so I can redraw my two vector here. So the vy is actually get here. Okay, I'm gonna bring this one a little bit to the further to the right. Okay, so if you calculate just now, you will get a positive and negative answer actually, yeah, because you take the square root. Okay, and actually this one is pointing downwards. Why do you say that it's pointing downwards? So it will be negative lah. Why do you say it's pointing downwards? Because from our diagram here, it's obvious that your vy is pointing downwards. So if you got positive and negative, you can choose this positive or negative based on logical thinking lah. This one will be negative because it's pointing downwards. So I can redraw the vector over there. So this is my vx, this is my vy. Okay, and this would be my v. So if I want to find my angle there, I use tangent theta equals to vy over vx, 36 over 38.06. So it's actually vy over vx. Okay. Okay, notice that I didn't substitute any negative inside there because, like I told you previously, if you draw this one and you want to use this formula, you can simply substitute the magnitude. So you can ignore the negative one because negative just indicates a different direction. But then final answer, you have to state in which direction, which we're gonna do afterwards. Okay, here I got 43.41. And from this diagram here, you can see that the theta here actually below positive, x exists. So you do this, you will get the full mark. For sure you get a full mark. Okay, kalau kira betul lah. Alright. Okay, A, B, A. Okay, so we calculate ABC. Now D, determine the range of this object. Maybe I can do it down here, not sure. Okay, the last question, which is question D. Okay, you want to find SX range. Okay, so you can use SX equals to UXT. Do you have the time? No, but you have. So if you don't have the time yet, check if you have the time. Okay, you don't have the time yet, so you need to find the time first. Okay. So basically the idea is that you want to find SX you can use sx equals to uxt. But here you don't have the time yet, so find this one first. Okay, exam you don't have to write down lah, like find the t first ke apa ke, you just calculate. But here, because I want to show you, I write it down. So you can calculate t from y component. Okay, so you don't have enough information over here, you can calculate time from this component lah, y component. So the two formula that have time is this and that one. I think the best or the easiest way, you can choose this one because this one doesn't have any square in it. Okay, so you get time straight away, you can use. Okay, but make sure you use Vy corresponding to this position. This is very important. Okay, so what I mean is that if I use Vy equals to Uy minus GT, okay, Uy that shouldn't be a problem. Uy will be equals to 17.75 there. Okay, minus 9.81 T. Okay, the tricky part is not tricky lah, but you have to be careful for Vy. Okay, Vy, you basically have to use this one, 36. But if you substitute just 36, it means it's pointing upwards, which is not true. So you have to substitute negative 36. Okay, be careful with this. So the time that you got here is actually equals to negative 36 minus 17.75 divided by negative 9.81. I got here is 5.488. Okay, again, I'm gonna make this one smaller. And then I can calculate Sx. So now basically we want to solve this one lah. Alright, so therefore Sx is equals to uxt. Since ux will always be equals to 38.06, time is 5.48. I got here is 208.57. Okay, so the difference might be from the decimal places lah, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, like I always wanna tell you, as long as you calculate the numbers that you write and you calculate it correctly, you should get full marks, even if the answer is different than the final answer, the given final answer lah. So don't bother with that. Okay, jangan risau lah. Okay, complete with question 19. Now it's up to now we are gonna do question 20. Okay, quite sempat. Okay, in the figure 2.5 below, a ball rolled horizontally on the top of a 65 height building and fell to the ground 80 meters from the foot of the building. Determine the time of flight, initial velocity of the ball. Okay, I'm gonna make this one a little bit brighter. Okay, velocity just before the ball hits the ground. Interesting question. Okay, remember that I told you to cancel out this information there. So cancel out. I think you use some number. I forgot what it is. Okay, so this would be your sy, but maybe you can put sy equals to negative because h equals to 0 is here, so below there is negative. This would be your sx. So they already give you the diagram. So dalam exam, if you get the diagram, you can always redraw it and then put it inside the answer sheet. Wait, okay, the first question they want to find the time of flight. Okay, if you want to use the x component, you don't have enough information yet. I'm gonna bring this one to the other side as well. Okay, paste it over here as well. Maybe I can paste it over here as well. Okay, and another one. Okay, back to our question just now. Okay, which is this one. Okay, if you want to use this x component, you don't have enough information because you do have the sx, but you don't have any values on the initial velocity. So you have to find this one in the second step, B, question B. But for now, you have to use the y component first. Okay, interesting. So one thing that you know, okay, so you cannot, okay, you don't have, you want to find the time, so you can either use this one or this one. You don't have the Vy, but you do have the Sy, so you can use this one. Sy is negative 65 there. Okay, so I'm going to do this one using that formula. Sy equals to Uyt minus half gt square. Okay, Sy will be equals to negative 65 equals to Uy is equals to 0. Why I assume that it is 0? Because you can see that this object, when it is being released, okay, or being launched, you only have Ux, okay, which is velocity in x component. So from the diagram itself, you can see that Uy is equals to 0. Okay, even if the question didn't give you the diagram, you can understand that Uy is equals to 0 if you have a specific information sentence like this. Ball roll horizontally. It is being released horizontally. So you know that when it is being released, you only have U in x component. Okay, if you're not sure, WhatsApp me. Okay. Okay, half gt, which is 9.81 t squared, is equals to, you want to find the t square. Okay, put t straight away. So the negative cancel out. 65 multiplied by 2 divided by 9.81. Take the square root. I got here is 3.64. Okay, I double check the answer. Yes, seems correct. So shouldn't have any problem with that. Okay, that one's for question A. Make this one smaller a little bit. Okay. Okay, the initial velocity of the ball. So we know that Uy is equals to 0, but now you have to find the Ux. Since the Sx is given, you can use this formula. Okay, so it becomes positive 80 because it is to the right. Ux is the one that you want to find, and you can find the t, which is 3.64, using the time there. So 80 divided by 2.64, I got here is 21.98. Okay, since you only have initial velocity in x component, you can write this one as your u as well. Okay, most importantly, you can write the direction lah, to the right. Okay. Velocity just before the ball hits the ground. Again, this is the similar question with the previous one. Okay, I said now you have more information. Okay, Ux will always be equals to Vx, so you don't have to calculate that one. So question C, Ux equals to Vx equals to 21.98. Okay. Okay, for Vy, now you have to find Vy. Oopsie, it's this. Okay, Vy, you can use this one, or you can use this one. You do have the time, okay, because this time corresponds to the time it took from there to there. So interestingly, you can use that one. So basically, your task is to find the V over here, but you really need to find your Vx and Vy as well. Okay, so Vx you can get straight away because it is equals to Ux, but my Vy would be equals to Uy minus GT. Uy just now is equals to 0 minus 9.81. You can find the time. We found the time already, so just use that number, and I should get negative because it is actually pointing downwards. So I got here is negative 35.71. So it makes sense lah why you got negative. Alright. Okay, now you do have Vx and Vy. You can calculate V using Vx square plus Vy square. Get the square root of this. U. So here I got 21.98. Okay, I didn't write the negative because I don't have enough space. Plus it's a square anyway, so that one should be okay. And now 21.98 square plus 35.71 square. Take the square root. I got here is 41.93. Okay, if you answer it like this, you might not get the full mark because you didn't write the direction. So for a vector, always write the direction, even if the question didn't state specifically. Oops, too small. Okay, you have x and y. Maybe you can redraw it over here. Just redraw the same diagram, Vx in that direction, Vy and V. Okay, ideally, I would like to draw it over here, but I might running out of space. Okay, maybe I can bring it down here. Okay, so the theta, I put it over there. So if I put the theta over here, straight away I can use tangent theta is equals to Vy over Vx, which is equals to 35.71. Again, I just substitute the magnitude because I already draw the diagram, so I know exactly where the location of the angle is. So okay, just double check the x and y. 58.39 degree. Okay, so this one means it's below positive x-axis, so it makes sense, and it comes from the drawing itself. So that's why it's important for you to draw. Alright, okay, I think that's it for this video. We continue to the next videos, the last question in the next video. Okay, thank you.